Look, I get it. Most AI trading bots are straight up garbage. They give you generic advice that loses you money. And honestly, most traders think they're all scams. But here's the thing. DeepSeek just dropped a reasoning model that's actually built for complex maths and real analysis, not just chat responses. And this changes everything for trading. I'm Ahmed, and I run an AI consultancy that helps businesses implement AI and teach over 200 plus AI builders how to actually build workflows that work. So today, I'm going to show you how to build a trading agent that actually reasons through trades just like a real analyst would, through things like multi-time frame analysis, news sentiment, the whole setup. Let's get into it. Well, here's why most of the AI models that you've probably tried to ask for trading decisions actually mess you up. Well, these chat models are trained for conversational answers, like maybe asking it a trading tip or something like that. But when it comes to a reasoning model that thinks step by step, like the new DeepSeek 3.2, is that it can do a multi-time frame analysis, like going through, let's say, a 1 minute time frame, 15 minutes time frame, and 1 hour time frame, and seeing the overall trend of that specific ticker that you're trying to trade. Not just that, but it weighs the news sentiment. It looks at news from the past 24 hours, 7 days, or even the past month, and it weighs that. It puts that all into consideration and gives you a structured recommendation for your trade setup. Like it gives you TP1, TP2, and stop loss, and the entry price that you need to do. And it also tells you when not to trade, when it's better to hold your money, because most of the times the best trades are made when you're not trading. So that is basically why we are going with this DeepSeek model and why it makes the AI trading agent extremely good. So let's head over to N8N and get started with this workflow. But before we get into building it, let me show you a quick demo of what it looks like. So we can see here it asks us to put in a ticker symbol, and we can get this by just going here and getting the Apple ticker symbol, which is AAPL. And all we have to do is just go back here and just type in AAPL. Just click on make decision, and the AI now is going to analyze everything about the Apple ticker symbol, their news, their movements on the chart, and it's going to come up with a decision for us. Not just that, but it's going to walk through why it made that decision. So let's see what that looks like. So you can see here it's evaluating, it's calculating risk reward ratio, and as I've said, once it's done, I'm going to show you the output. And it just finished, and it told us to hold on and not buy anything. And this was its reason. It says, I see the AAPL trading at blah, 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 blah. If you want, you can pause and look through this, but you can see it gives us a detailed analysis onto why it gave this particular decision. But if it was, let's say, buy or sell, it would give us the entry price here, the take profit, and the stop loss through here as well. And it would give us the reason why it went with that trading decision. So if you believe as a trader that the analysis that it did was valid, you can go ahead and place the trade. So that is basically what we're going to be building. So let's head back over to N8N and let's first start with this webhook node. What you want to do is click on respond to webhook, because we're using a UI, and don't worry, you can get access to this UI by clicking the first link in the description below, going over to the Builders Lab community, and going over to tools and resources in the classroom section. Scroll all the way down, and you're going to get access to the template of the workflow that we're going to be building right now. So if you don't want to build all of that, you can just click on template here, and we're going to have it in your N8N application. But we have to set up the credentials, which I'll be showing you in a bit how to set up the credentials that we use to get the market data, the new sentiment, and also the APIs for the LLM models like DeepSeek. But here you can see I also provide the link to access the UI, because this UI is not dependent on, let's say, whether it's my workflow or yours. It can work with any workflow because of this webhook URL here. And also You also get the new sentiment prompt, the aggregate data code, and yeah, so let's head back over to N8N. Let's set up this webhook node so that it can receive our ticker symbol. So let's head over to set mock data over here. Okay, let's type in ticker. Let's put in AAPL just for the default. I'll save it here. And once we do that, now we have to get our market data. And for the market data, we'll be using this API service called 12 Data. They provide financial data through their API services. And all you have to do is just easily just sign in with Google or any account. I'm going to sign in with my Google here. And once you sign up, you get a generous 800 API requests per month. And you're definitely not going to eat up this 800 except you run this lot, like extremely a lot. And what you want to do is go to your API keys here and make sure you have an API key. And if you don't have one, I believe it's going to ask you to generate, but yeah, make sure you have that. Then you're going to come over to the documentation here, and we just want to copy this. And what this does is that it gives us access to the market data. So you can see, you can add the symbol here, you can choose the interval, whether that's 1 minute, 5 minutes, or an hour. And then we're going to also add our API key here too as well. So let's go back to N8N and set this up. So we're going to search for the HTTP request node here. And I believe this is a GET request. Yeah, it should definitely be one. And then what we're going to do is come here, paste this. And instead of using all of this in the URL, all we have to do is go like this, drag and drop the symbol here. Then for the interval, we're going to start with the 1 minute time frame here. And for our API key, you want to come over here, click on generic credential type, click on query auth, and just click on here the credential. Yeah, then what you want to do is go back to the API docs, and you can see here it says API key in lowercase. Then go to your API page here, copy your API key, then go back to the N8N application and paste in the value here. Click on save. And once we have that all set up, we'll just make sure to rename it so that you don't forget the 12 Data API, and save it. Then we can make our first run, and perfect. You can see here we get the metadata, which you can see the symbol is AAPL, interval is 1 minute, and we get the candles here. You can see we get the date time and the open, high, low, close, and volume of the candle. One more thing is I forgot, is that we need to add output size here and make it 100 so that we can get the last 100 candles in the 1 minute time frame, so that we can give as much context to our AI model and make sure to remove anything from the question mark in the URL here, and we can execute here, and perfect, we get all of the 100. Then next up, as you know, when you're trading, you have to make sure that you have a multi-frame setup, because in the 1 minute time frame there might be a lot of noise. In the 5 minutes time frame you might get a bit of context, but in the 1 hour time frame you're going to get a bit of direction on where the market is heading. And as you make the time frame bigger and bigger, you get much more context about where the market is going. But for this AI trading agent, we're going to use the 1 minute, 15 minutes, and the 1 hour time frame. So all you have to do is just simply duplicate this, because that's the easiest way to do so. Make sure to drag the symbol again. Close this, because I'm just going to be scrolling endlessly if I was to do that. So just paste this here, and we're going to change this to 15 minutes. Execute. Perfect. And get the ticker symbol again from the webhook node. Drag and drop it. And then for this one, I'm going to make it 1 hour. click on execute, and perfect. So now we have candlestick data from 3 different time frames. That's 1 minute, 15 minutes, and 1 hour. But we all know that price alone doesn't tell us the whole story, because news alone can move the market. For example, let's say the company of the stock just missed their earnings by 10%, and you're just looking purely at price action. You wouldn't know or have context on, let's say, why the price is going down, and you might think based on, let's say, your technical analysis it's something else. But if you had to have context on the market, you would definitely know that it was because they missed their earnings by 10%. So what we're going to add to this AI agent on top of this multi-time frame analysis, or should I say multi-time frame data, is capturing news data. And in order for us to add all of this news data, we're going to use this news API, which is free as well. And all you have to do is create an account. And if you create the account, you're going to be brought here and you're going to see your API key here. So make sure you have this safe and secure. And for usage, you have 1000 requests, which is way more than 12 data, for example. And once you get your API key, you want to get this endpoint right here. And let's go back. And let's type in the HTTP request node again. Paste in our stuff here. And we need to add a few things. So first of all, we need to create a generic credential type. Go all the way to query and click on here. Then if we were to check the news API, they use API key, which is written like this. And then paste your API key here. Make sure you have the name to something you can remember. So maybe by naming it News API, or should I say News API org API, you're going to be able to remember if you're going to, let's say, reuse this credentials in the future. We already have mine set up, and I have it here. And click on send query parameter here. And what we want to do is first of all click on Q, which is basically the term of what we're going to be searching for, and we can get this data from the ticker. The reason why, let's say, we're not using the name Microsoft or let's say Apple, because in some rare cases like Apple, let's say if you search for the term Apple, you're going to get results about the fruit apple rather than the company Apple. So we are just going to stick to using the ticker symbols. And after that, we are going to get from, and for from, which is basically how far back do you want us to get the news about this particular ticker symbol about. So for this, we're just going to make it fetch news from the past 1 week. And we're going to just simply paste in this code here. And it's just going to auto-calculate the particular date for the last 7 days, so that it can be used in the API request. And for the to, which is basically the current day, so we're going to paste in that, and this does that automatically. So you see, you don't even need to go into the workflow every day and update the last 7 days and the current day. So all this is done for you automatically. And then after that, we want to add the language parameter, and we want to make sure we get articles that are only in English. Then after that too as well, we want to add page size. We want to make sure we get 100 articles per page. Good. And one more thing, we want more of this. Just make it the URL and just click on execute, and perfect. You can see we got 44 articles about Apple. Perfect. And then after this is the news sentiment analysis, which we can do by adding the basic LLM chain, clicking on define below here. And what the new sentiment analysis will be doing, basically, let's say, looks at all of these 44 articles, but it gives more weight to the articles that are closer to today's current date. And between -1 and 1, it gives us a score. Not just that, but then it gives us another score, whether the new sentiment is neutral or positive or negative. Then after that again is that it gives us an explanation on why it chose the number score and then the positive, neutral, or negative score as well. Because if you were to feed all of these articles into, let's say, the AI model that will be making the trading decision, that would be a lot of data and unnecessary information that we're providing it with. Why not we just combine all of this information and we just get a new sentiment, whether the news sentiment on that specific stock or ticker is bullish or bearish or neutral. So let's go over to this basic LLM chain here, click on system. Then for the message, as I've said, it's all going to be accessible from this Builders Lab community AI trading agent page, and you can get the prompt by going into the new sentiment prompt, copy it here, go to N8N and paste it here. Perfect. So you can see the prompt here. It says you are a financial sentiment analysis and analyze the sentiment of the provided news article about, fix it up about the provided stock. Then, as I've said, weigh recent articles more heavy, as I've told you. Then here is where we have the sentiment score, the sentiment classification, whether that be positive, neutral, or negative. Then we have the rationalization, which is basically a brief summary explaining the score and classification based on the article's content. And you can see here we have the scoring rules, which basically breaks down how to get a specific score. You can see here to get 0.6 to 1, the news has to be extremely positive with record profits, breakthroughs, and strong demand. And let's say for us to get between -1 and -0.6, the news has to be extremely negative, like losses, layoffs, scandals, or regulatory issues. So you can see we break it down for the AI. And then here, we are going to add this prompt here. It says here, add the articles. All we are going to do here is just the expression and drag and drop this to articles. But you can see here, it just shows objects, so we have to stringify the JSON, and we can easily do that by just doing this. And the next thing we need to add is the brains that does all of the sentiment analysis, which is going to be the DeepSeek model. And you can do that by going to OpenRouter here. And if you don't know what OpenRouter is, it's an AI platform where you can get access to both closed source and open source models all under one hub, or should I say one umbrella, one API key. And you can see you can get access to the models from the Frontier Labs and also open source models too as well, which are extremely cheap. And in order for you to use this API, what you have to do is top up your account with credits. Then you go over to keys here and you're going to see your API. So copy that, go back over to the N8N workflow we are building, and click on create new credential here and just paste your API key here. I'm not going to do that because I already have mine set up. Then we're going to search for the DeepSeek v3.2 model. Then one more thing, we need to require a specific output because we want all of our outputs to be structured because of the next step, which I'll be showing you in a bit. But we want to come over to structured output here. Then we want to provide an example of the output of what an output could look like, because you can see here we have sentiment score 0.18, sentiment classification, it says positive because it's higher than 0. Obviously, if it's lower than 0, it's going to be a negative. Then if it's 0 exactly, it's neutral. So you can see here, and the rationalization, the reason why it gave this sentiment score. And once we have both set up, all we have to do is just click on this, and what it's going to do now is going to look at the 44 articles about the Apple stock, and it's going to give us a news sentiment analysis based on those 44 articles. And you can see here it just finished, and let's look at it. Actually, it's positive, so it gave us a sentiment score of 0.5, classification of positive, and The reason said the recent articles between December 9 to 11 highlight that Apple's perceived slow AI strategy is now being viewed as a strength amid broader tech spending concerns. So you can see it goes a bit in depth, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So now we have all of this data and they're all independent and on their own. So we need to bring it all into one place so that we can give this information to our AI agent that will be making the trading decision. So in order for us to do that, we want to create a code node. I code in JavaScript, and for the code, you can get access to it from the Builders Lab. Copy the code here. Just come over here and drag and drop it. And then this is where most people make a mistake, but if you just go through with me, it's not going to be an issue for you. So you want to come over to the 1 minute time frame node, copy the values here, just drag and drop it here, and you're done. And you want to do for the 15 minutes is the same thing. Go over here, drag and drop it, the values array, not the specific item in the array, the whole array itself. But drag and drop it. Then we do the same for the 1 hour time frame. Drag and drop it. Not dropping. Okay, perfect. Then for the ticker, all we have to do and click, go back to the webhook node here. Then let's just drag and drop it here. That looks good. And then finally, for the sentiment analysis, we can clear this and just drag and drop the output object into here, and that looks good. And what this code does, if you look at it from here, is that it creates this. Will I open this up? Yes, I can. So we can see here it creates a JSON called trading data. It puts the ticker at the top. It gives us the timestamp, which is the current date and time. And then the technical analysis, it puts it into one group, and then it removes all the noisy data and just puts it into, okay, 1 minute time frame. This is the interval, and these are all the candles, all the 100 candles. It repeats the same for the 15-minute time frame, and then for the 1 hour time frame. And then for the fundamental analysis, what should I say, the new sentiment, it puts all of the score, classification, and rationalization into one place. So you can see we went from this hectic individual nodes, even though you might not say it's hectic, but if we go into them, you can see it's a lot of data, into this, which looks extremely good. You can see here exactly what we're looking for. And this gives us the perfect foundation for the AI agent that will be making the trading decisions for us. And in order for us to do that, let's search for the AI agent node here. Click on define below, go back here, and we would find our trading decision prompt. I'll go into it in a bit, but let's add in a system message here and paste it. And if you were to look at it, you would see that we say that you are an expert financial analyst and technical trader, analyze the provided market data comprehensively, and generate actionable trading recommendations. So we can see the provided data here, which is the aggregated data that we created using the JavaScript node, and then the analysis requirements I need to do the risk assessment. We can see here the decision making that I need to do and some critical rules that I need to follow. If you want a more in-depth look into this prompt, you can get access to it here with the last resource and then give a look into it. And obviously, if you want to change the strategy that this particular AI trading agent uses, you can change it here in the prompt and it would use the strategy that you wanted to use. So you can see it's highly customizable. So what you want to do here is that I'm going to drag and drop the aggregated trading data that we created using the code node. So let's see, here's trading data. If you want to drag this trading data here, text, so you have to go into expressions, and you can see it's an object here. So we have to basically turn this into a stringified JSON. So you can just do it like this, and we get everything into a stringified JSON format, and all of our data is aggregated. And once we've set that up, we want to obviously add the chat model, which is OpenRouter. So we'll basically be using the same credentials that we set up in the previous sentiment analysis node, and then we're just going to search for DeepSeek v3.2. I tried using the specially earlier, but I don't know why, for some reason it wasn't working, so we're just gonna stick to the v3.2. It's the same thing, but then the specially is more focused on math stuff. But maybe when you're giving this a try, you could definitely try and use the specially. Maybe by that time it's working, but for now I just tried it and it wasn't working. Now the next thing is that we need to add the think tool, and what this does is that it gives this AI agent the ability to think and reason even more in depth, because this AI model on its own, it reasons, but then we're adding more thinking ability, and we're gonna add the thinking ability now. So we're gonna go into expressions, open this, and paste in this here, which says use this tool to think through complex trading analysis. It will analyze aggregated market data across multiple time frames, 1 minute, 15 minute, and 1 hour candles, and synthesize the sentiment analysis and append all detailed trading reasoning to the log, because that is how it works. So it would basically look at the prompt and the data that it was provided, and it would create, like, let's say, a thought process and append it to the log, so that the AI model here can use that. And when I run this model, you would see how the data flows between the think node and the chat model node. And we don't need to add memory because this runs just once. It doesn't have like that kind of back and forth conversation type of thing. So now we have everything set up, and as I've said, if you click on this, you can see first of all it triggers the chat model, and now you can see it's using the DeepSeek 3.2 to reason through the trade. And then any moment from now, we can see that it would use this think tool. You can see it just use the think tool, and you can see the response. It just said, I need to analyze blah blah price context. Yeah, so it just appended this whole thought process to this AI, and you can see this AI model was used twice. The first time it called this thing tool, then this thing tool responded back to it, or should I say it added it to the log of the AI agent, and then the AI agent used that log to create the final trading decision. And we can see here we get it in a stringified JSON, but we are going to get it into a proper object so that we can get a clearer view of what that looks like. So what we're going to do is that we're going to come into here, we're going to use the set fields, going to just call it decision, going to make it an object, paste this right here, and if we were to execute, we can see it here, which looks much more structured. But you can see here it told us to buy, it gave us the entry price, the take profit, the stop loss, and the reasoning for going with buy decision. You can see here it says I'm seeing a strong confluence between technical and fundamental signals here. On the technical side, I notice AAPN has formed a clear higher low pattern, all that kind of stuff. You can go more in depth once you run your own workflow and analyze the reasoning. And now we need to respond to our front end, because you can remember we use the front end to put in the ticker symbol, which got received by the webhook node, and then we're going to use the respond to webhook node to display this data that we get into a more UI friendly manner. So we're going to come here, all right, to webhook, we're going to get JSON, then we're going to drag and drop this, and that is it. and just click on this. Obviously you want to reflect on the UI because we haven't hooked this up with any UI yet, and make sure this says using responsive webhook. And once you've set everything up, you want to come here, click on listen to test event, because we have to make sure our webhook node is structured to receive the payload that Lovable sends. So this is just going to happen the first time you create this workflow, but if you were to import the template that I created, you don't need to do all of this. So you want to come back to the UI here, paste the webhook URL, click on save here, and just send this. Obviously it's going to fail because we're using test. Okay, so you want one thing. We need to click on save. We need to make sure it's active actually. Which is why it's not showing. Copy it back again, go back here, paste it, click on save configuration, and make a decision. Obviously it's going to fail. Wait. Oh, I made the mistake. We need to make it a post request, sorry, so that it can receive data, because a post request is might send the data, and we send this. Perfect, you can see we receive our data, and what matters is this here, because now you can see this input is invalid. So we have to make sure that we use the correct input, because now we get all these headers and we get the ticker in the body payload, and then we need to update this too as well, because that has failed. Not failed, but then it's not going to work. Copy this and apply it to here too as well. And where else did we use there? And we did use it here. Then you can come here to the code node. Let's open. Let's come all the way at the top here. Paste it in here, and perfect. Now our workflow is ready to run. So all you have to do is just click on production URL here, make sure to copy it and make sure it's active and running. Then all you have to do is come back here, click on this, click on save configuration, but for this time we are going to be using the MSFT ticker, which is the Microsoft Corporation ticker symbol. And if you need to go to the trading application, which is our AI trading agent interface, and just search MSFT, click on make decision, and now what it's going to do is that if we were to go to our executions, we would see that it just triggered this workflow, which means now it's going through all of this process and it's going to make a trading decision for us. So once it's done, I'm going to get back to you with the results. And it just finished. We can see here it gave us a decision to hold and not buy or sell, to steal from the market. And the analysis is like saying that I'm seeing conflicting signals here on the fundamental side. Microsoft has positive sentiment, analyst upgrades, and major international investment, which tells the underlying business remains strong. However, the technical picture tells a different story. So you can see there's conflicting information between the technical side and the fundamental side. So that is why it's holding off from this trade. And there you have it. You came here frustrated with generic trading bot, but now you have a full production ready AI trading agent powered by the new DeepSeek reasoning model that includes multi-time frame analysis, news sentiments, and trade recommendations in a structured manner that actually works. If you want the full N8N template so that you don't have to go through all of this building stage, you can click the first link in the description below and join the Builders Lab community. And once you're there, I'm gonna go over to the classroom section, click on tools and resources, just download the template here, come into your N8N application and click on import from file, and you're going to have everything set up and ready to go. And you're going to also have access to this UI, which you can click on here, and you're going to get access to it too as well. Not just that, but you're going to get access to 50 plus templates and other AI builders you can communicate with. Not just that, but ask me questions and get direct answers straight from me. And if you're a business lost in this AI world and you need an AI strategy laid out for your company, you can click the second link in the description below and book a call with my team so that we can get you started with that. If this video helped, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and drop a comment on the ticker, or should I say the stock that I'm going to give this a try with, and let me know how it did. I'm Ahmed, and I'll see you in the next one.